Hey guys, welcome back to the Rekt Capital channel. Thanks so much for joining me in today's video. Let's focus and talk about Bitcoin's price action in the short term and in the midterm. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future, and let's dive right in. So this is the short-term market structure on Bitcoin, and what we need to focus on is these repeated support holds of the base of this market structure. Most recently, this one being at a higher low to this one. But nonetheless, we do have a series of higher lows and at the same time, lower highs. But the thing about this most recent lower high is that we got a candle close on the 4-hour time frame just above it. But we broke back into, or at least straight into, this resistance area, which we'll be talking about in a second. But generally speaking, Bitcoin is trying to retest the top of this black diagonal resistance into a support so that it can actually challenge and penetrate through this red resistance area. That's the short-term outlook at the moment for Bitcoin's price action. A breakout, though not fully confirmed, a breakout from this wedging structure, but not fully confirmed. The retest attempt is still in progress. Bitcoin is still trying to figure itself out. But let's look at the midterm trend and the most important thing to watch out for at this time, and that's the 21-week EMA, a time-tested bull market indicator, and Bitcoin's price action isn't very far below it. In fact, this 21-week EMA is at around 43,500, and we're currently at around 43, just hovering just below it. And what's interesting about this most recent dip in Bitcoin's price action is that we're actually seeing a early stage weekly higher low. So that latest recovery that we're seeing today in Bitcoin's price action is lending itself, or at least propelled by this higher low, which is a positive sign, though it is still very much early stage. If Bitcoin isn't able to reclaim 43,500 before the weekly close, then this recent rebound won't amount to much, and we'll see this 21-week EMA flip into a resistance reject price and then weigh down heavily via sell-side pressure on this early stage weekly high low, and this high low won't amount to much if Bitcoin isn't able to reclaim that level. So at the moment, just below the 21-week EMA, it's really important that Bitcoin is able to reclaim it as a support, because as a resistance, it could get rejected to lower price levels. But the other thing that's supporting Bitcoin's price action on the daily time frame, for instance, is the Pi cycle 111-day moving average. This is something that we've been covering over the past few days and weeks, really, where this Pi cycle moving average, which is taken into account 111 days worth of price action in the past, it does move up quite slowly because it takes into account a lot of price action. But what we need to mention is that it was once upon a time a resistance, and then a short-term support, and now a midterm retest of this level is happening. It is in the process, and at the same time, we're seeing that this Pi cycle moving average is supporting price at a higher low, which is really positive because, of course, this previous support area gave way and then flipped into a resistance, and then a resistance again, and then a resistance again. So what's important to note here, as we've noted on the short-term time frames, we're also seeing lower highs on the daily time frame. Bitcoin's price action is getting rejected at lower and lower and lower points in this red resistance area. So it's really important for Bitcoin to daily candle close above this blue horizontal to just invalidate this series of lower highs and to enable price to really try to break out and challenge for a penetration through this red resistance area. That's the most important thing that I'm going to be watching out for, because a daily candle close above this blue level here would essentially mean to us that Bitcoin was able to successfully retest this market structure right over here in the short term, and by the same token, that would feed into Bitcoin being, or at least challenging for a reclaim of this really important 21-week EMA. So this 21-week EMA needs to be reclaimed, and a daily candle close here and a breakout, a confirmed retest attempt on that short-term time frame, on the 4-hour time frame, those are things that will translate into a successful reclaim of the 21-week EMA. But we cannot underestimate the support on the pi cycle moving average over here, the pi cycle moving average figuring as a strong support, but ultimately sandwiching price between this pi cycle moving average support and this red resistance area, forming a ascending like triangle formation. At the moment we are consolidating here, so no real trend has emerged just yet, but rest assured a break beyond this red resistance area and we're going to see some overextension beyond it, and of course lose this level. That could lead to a revisit into closer towards the mid-30s. So at the moment, no real trend has occurred. And in fact, this is actually beneficial to Bitcoin on the more macro scale, as I talk about in the Rekt Capital newsletter. As long as it's able to hold these levels and consolidate inside this area that we have seen Bitcoin gets sandwiched by, the pi cycle moving average and this red resistance area, as long as we see consolidation going into October, then this is actually favorable price positioning on the macro scale. And if you'd like to read more about that and my thoughts and in-depth analysis on that, feel free to check out the Rekt Capital newsletter in the link in the description down below. But that being said, thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. And of course, like the video if you enjoyed this one. For more content like this going forward, I'm Rekt Capital and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.